Alright folks, welcome. It's been kind of a long time since I made a video. 5-6 weeks, something like that. Time is usually the problem, as far as that goes. Most of you probably feel the same way, I would think. There's never enough of that. So anyway, grabbed a couple of units. I've been buying a lot of this stuff lately for pretty cheap because there isn't really much demand for it anymore. The first one would be this one here. I think this is late 80s ART ProVerb. Second one, I think this is late 80s as well. MSP4 Digitech, which I think is the older version of the DSP28 multi-effects unit. And I've been using these lately just for practice, that type of thing, almost in a pedal sort of form. More of an experimental type thing with these units. Kind of like when John Frusciante, when stuff of his rig comes out and people are like, can't believe he uses that, that thing's a piece of junk. Kind of looking for stuff along those lines that is different. It's not typically what you would expect. Kind of get some different sounds, some different ideas, different vibes from things, and kind of a little bit of a preview of what these things sound like. I don't have a rack yet. I gotta get a rack, power conditioner, all of that kind of stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna set them up for MIDI and all that, because I don't really need to do that. I'm just using it for recording and that sort of thing, experimentation. And in the past, the problems that I always have using reverb pedals, digital delay, etc., is it's always been too much. You got to keep turning the knob down, especially using distortion. The stuff just echoes forever. There's a lot of different presets, a lot of different settings on these things where you can kind of dial them in the way that I would making a mix using reverb and post. That's kind of what I wanted to do, and I recorded these clips just using these. Clean, it's you can pretty much use any preset. The problem is the riffs and the solos and that sort of thing. So I got 2 different clips for each one and show you just kind of a preview of what they sound like in case you're interested. Got them for super cheap. One of them I paid $60, the other one I paid $50. So I mean, you're really not going to get anything cheaper than that, and stuff sounds pretty good. It's old school. It's vintage, I guess you could say. So you should check the clips out. Bloody headlines. See you later. 'Cause you never were mine. Similar skin. No survivors. In the bastards. Later rivals. It'll break you up. You lose your mind. You work so hard. See you never find. Little peace of mind. Simple lady. A lot of different options. I'm kind of staying in the same area with both of them, looking for something that doesn't echo forever, not tons of repeats. Clean, you can get away with that, but you're using it on a solo or riff or something like that, you got to be really tight with what you're doing. So that's kind of how I have it set up right now. Alright, so I'm just experimenting here. I have the MSP set to P54, which is a setting that I've been using a lot. It's more of an ambient type thing, nothing really too crazy. Try a little bit of blues stuff here, bluesy type stuff. Alright, so this is going to ruin the continuity of this video, but there's kind of nothing I can do because the conclusion video that I shot, there's audio problems, my dog was flipping out, I just can't use it, I couldn't edit it, I couldn't fix it, so I got to reshoot it. Basically what I was just going to touch on was I got the direction books for these things, the ProVerb came with it. The Digitech, you can get PDFs downloaded. This is for the 128. It seems to be kind of similar. I'll have to look to see if there's an MSP4. When I looked, I don't think I found one, or I couldn't find one, but there could be one there. Maybe I just didn't look hard enough. I'll have to look. Again, there's like a million different presets and options with these things, so the direction book does help. You know, if you can get one that has that, it's a plus. You know, it's not really like a pedal, you know, where pedals got like 2 or 3 knobs. Some pedals have one, you know, like a Phase 90, where it's like, I don't need a direction book. It's like you just plug it in and just mess with it, you know. These aren't like that. It's a bit more complicated. And, you know, back in the day when this stuff was like the norm, I never had any of this because I was just a kid and I couldn't really afford any of it, and I didn't know how any of it worked. You know, there was no internet, there was no YouTube. You basically would have to talk to somebody who had a rack and ask them, how does all this stuff work? And I didn't know anybody that had one. So, you know, it was just one of those things where just all these years later, I kind of forgot about all this stuff. And I was like, I just started buying some pieces here and there. So like I said, I'll do some other videos with some different pieces, some preamps, that kind of thing. You know, I use these several different ways. I use them through the effects loop of amps. I also just go direct into the interface, the guitar. Again, I mean, that's not really the best way to do it. I mean, it's probably preferable, I guess, to go through the power amp, but I do it all kinds of different ways. You get good sounds with these things either way. So, anyway, I just wanted to touch on that. And again, thanks for watching. Hope this told some sort of a story, and it wasn't like an all over the place mess. And again, thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Later.